never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. We're live again. It's Tuesday. I've got Simon Reed with me today from sjr.digital. Hello, Simon. How are you?
Hi, Ashley. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, absolutely superb. Now, we're going to be talking about CRM. Now, if you don't know what CRM, it stands for Customer Relationship Management. So, Simon, tell us a little bit about you and who you are.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name's Simon Reed. I've been dealing with processes and implementing processes for probably the last 30, 40 years. And a lot of that was with large corporates. But in 2009, I started helping smaller businesses and SMEs with the same thing, really, just improving their processes internally, improving their external processes when dealing with customers and leads, and really just bringing efficiencies in that allows them to grow their businesses in a fast and efficient manner.
No, perfect.
Now my talk at the minute really is about CRMs, because customer relationship management is a really important thing to have within the business. And businesses, when they're growing, do have issues that arise that can mean that you can lose customers, or you can lose opportunities. And really, that's what I do. I help businesses stop that happening by identifying the right solution for them.
No, fantastic. And we're going to dig really deep into this today, because CRM is a passion of mine. Because when we first had a chat, I told you about that I actually invented CRM, didn't I?
You did.
So basically, if you're listening to this and thinking, no, he didn't, I had a card system where I just wrote data on and pulled it forward in like a Rolodex. So I guess that was very rudimentary CRM. That was got to be 32 years ago, Simon. You said you've been doing this for 40 years. So what were you using 40 years ago then?
It was...
Because we didn't have cloud computing back then, did we?
Yeah, it was card systems and pin boards with pieces of elastic and all that sort of stuff with time scheduling. You probably don't remember those, but yes, it was card, wasn't it? I mean, and CRMs have always existed, because it's just a way of managing your customers and your leads. They existed when people used to write inquiries on pieces of paper and bring them into an office to get quoted for. When I started, we had a week to do a quote. Well, that wouldn't exist nowadays, and things have changed. But so CRMs do exist, and they always have done. It's just the tools that you use to do it, really. And this evolving is still continuing to happen. So yeah.
I've just had a thought. What about the T card system?
T cards, fantastic.
Yeah. Now I am really showing my age. So if you're I don't know, younger than 40, younger than 30, you definitely wouldn't know what a T card is. And basically, imagine the shape T. That was a piece of card, and that hung on the wall in a little metal bracket, and people used to grab hold of them and move them along or move them up and down, much like I can't think Trello or something like Monday or something like that. Yeah,
a pipeline sort of style, if you like. But the only problem with those T cards was that somebody else could come into the office and move it. And I know that a lot of production.
Where's Mr. Jones gone? Where's Mr. Jones gone? It was there. It was there in the going to buy now column. Oh my goodness, who's had it? Oh, I thought it was scrap. I scribbled my shopping list on the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I bet that has never happened, has it?
I know it's crazy. We used to see production boards, where they're pushing work through the company, and a salesperson would come and take a card and push it to the front so that his job got done first. And the production manager would sort of hit the roof because suddenly things were changing without control. But absolutely. Which is why a CRM needs to have controls in it. So you need, if you're using a CRM, you need to make sure that the right people are seeing the right information, and that they can only do what they need to do as well. So that's really important. That's very, as implementing a system that works for the business and not.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing I want to get clear right from the get-go is you are not affiliated to any specific
Correct.
vendor of CRM. So you're totally agnostic. So
Yeah.
you could turn around and go, Ash, these are the best 3 that would suit your business, and then you go and talk to somebody else, and it would be 3 totally different ones. Is that basically how it works?
Well, in a way, I mean, yes, totally independent. And the reason for that is my aim is really to find the right solution for the business, and it's not about being affiliated and pushing one. So there are companies out there that are affiliated to certain CRMs, and if you go and talk to them, they'll say, yes, you need to use this one because this is really good and this will do the job for you. However, they're doing it from an affiliate point of view at that level, and they're not necessarily going to give you the best advice as far as matching your requirements against a solution. So that was really important for me because I've seen it and experienced it, that where people have sort of sold a CRM. It's a bit like going on Google, searching CRMs, choosing the top advert, and going with it, because you haven't really at that point in time matched it to your requirements, and you haven't really made that decision in an informed manner. And so that's really been my focus all the way along. And even when I was working in corporates, I was always acting as though I was, trying to find the best solution that was going to be implemented, not a solution.
Yeah, no,
that's really important to me.
It is. So for those people that are out there listening to this, watching this, why do they need a CRM in their business?
I think there's a number of reasons. As businesses grow, certain things happen. Duplication, for instance, it's a key one. People will develop a spreadsheet and they'll work on their spreadsheet, but then someone else in another office might be developing a spreadsheet to work for them. And within the information may be customer details, it may be telephone numbers, it might be notes about meetings, but they're not connected. So the problem is there's no visibility within the business of what is actually going on. The risk is that, and I've experienced this, where someone's using their own spreadsheet in a business, and then they go on holiday for a couple of weeks, and nobody knows where this information is. Nobody can see it or get to it, and what happens is the customer service suffers, leads get lost. Whatever the information is, you just can't get hold of it. So the aim of CRM really is to centralize your information in an efficient manner so that you reduces duplication. It increases visibility at all levels, right from people using the system, right up to director level, where they can see what is going on within the business. And it makes it efficient so that as you get bigger, as you grow your business, you can still cope with that information because it's being managed in an efficient manner. And I think just sitting back and looking at the data that you have within your company as an exercise is really useful. Secondly, to say, well, actually, that's not being worked in the most efficient way is really useful. And thirdly, to actually then find a solution that will match your requirements is absolutely key. And that will reduce your costs, reduce your running costs, it reduces your time, it reduces your risk, and it increases your profits immediately because it's all centralized and you're working more efficient.
Okay, so I'm running my small business. I'm down the pub talking to Dave. Dave says you need a CRM.
Yeah.
What's and I may go and Google it and look at it and go, that's far too complicated. What's the trigger point that you see people going, I have to have a CRM?
I think when they are losing customers or they're losing opportunities, and I've spoken to many companies who have got an inquiry in from a client. They're too busy messing around with all the data that they've got within the business, and then they realise they've missed a deadline to get a quote in, or they've got a quote in, a price into a customer or a lead, and they forget to chase it up. Well, suddenly that inefficiency within the company is affecting your bottom line. It's affecting what you're winning. And likewise, if you're not communicating with your existing customers in an efficient manner, then they're going to go somewhere else. So I've had it where you may not talk to a customer for a couple of years. Most businesses have dormant customers in their list that they haven't spoken to for a while, and yet the customer will forget you're there. Whereas if you're constantly keeping in touch with them, and that can be done through email, it can be done through just literally just reminding you to pick the phone up and give them a call.
Yeah.
You can actually keep in touch with that customer, and and they are your easiest route to increasing more sales. So
Yeah, absolutely.
why wouldn't you want to be talking to them? Why do you want any dormant customers in there? So the tools are there to be used, and they can be automated to make life easier. But ultimately, that's really why I feel that you need a CRM to put in your business, or a system that is centralized, should I say, if you described it differently.
Yeah,
It's centralized and efficient to keep all the information in the right place and bring visibility throughout.
yeah, perfect. And so, what's the typical size of business of people using your service? Is it one man band, one woman band? Is it 100 staff? Where is your sweet spot where you really go in and add the most value?
There's a wide range, and I'm going to say everybody, but without being too general, basically a one-man band can benefit from a CRM because it can bring in the small number of processes that they may have. An SME who's got maybe an owner manager type business with a team of half a dozen people will also benefit from a CRM because it brings visibility to the company. And then a larger company that may have 100 people, 100, 200 staff involved, and have a structure and a hierarchy within the company. So you have sales teams and customer service teams, and you have director level and all that sort of thing going on. You can set the structure out within a CRM as well. And there are a lot of CRMs out there. We currently compare to 12 CRMs. So when we're identifying your processes and your data, we will actually compare them to a range to give you the top matching 3. And they will vary from company to company because everybody has slightly different needs. There are core needs that you all have, that all businesses record, but there are other ones as well. And I think that it's finding those ones that match what you require, which are more important than any. So,
Sure.
yeah. So any size of business, but a different solution for each. That's
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
the answer, really.
Well, when you're pulling from 12 different suppliers, that is a huge range, isn't it? And there's going to be
Yeah,
something for everybody.
and
Okay,
it's
so
increasing all the time. So.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm listening to this and thinking, oh, okay, maybe I'll go for a CRM. What sort of investment is a small business likely to expend per month or per year on a CRM package?
Right. So with a small business, it can be free, and which is a
Oh,
great thing.
seriously?
So absolutely, there are free if they are really on a very basic functionality requirement. But they do vary, and I think the frightening thing about the pricing within CRMs is that you could be paying £50 a month for a CRM package, and then your business grows because you're using a CRM and you're being efficient, and you want to move to the next level, and suddenly it jumps up to £600 a month, for the same with a slightly bit of extra functionality in there. So part of the review that we do is making sure that that the plan is there, and so that you understand what the route is for this CRM. You might only need it at a fairly low cost at the moment, but in a year's time, is that going to change? And if that's the case, and you're not going to be prepared for that, then maybe there's another solution. So it's really understanding not only the data and the processes to find a match, but it's actually understanding out of those matches, which are the ones that are going to give you the best longevity of use and the best value, so you can get your return on your investment.
Yeah. But again, the tool has got to be right for the job.
Absolutely.
It's no good buying a Phillips screwdriver if you've got flathead screws. It
Yeah.
might be the best Phillips screwdriver in the world, but you're not
Yeah.
going to get anywhere, are you?
No.
And
And the aim shouldn't be to just invest in something now and find that you've fallen out of love with it in a year's time. You're actually it's becoming the backbone of your lead gen and your customer service. and therefore it's got to work for you, over time as you grow.
Yeah, sure. So what are the biggest mistakes that people are making with their current CRM assignment? So, they've talked to Dave down the pub. He said to get a CRM. So they've Googled it, found something, and they're using it. But what are the biggest mistakes that people are making?
I think the biggest problem is that they don't use it. And
Okay.
okay, so it's the process of actually implementing a CRM. So you think of an SME with a small team of people, and one of the director says, right, we're going to use this CRM, and he plugs it in, he starts paying for it, and he says, this is it, you've got to use it now, and nobody's on board with it because they've been thrown it, almost it's been thrown on the table. This, oh god, the boss now wants us to use this, when in reality what you should be doing is once you've identified the top three, is reviewing with the people who are going to use it. So it's always important for me to make sure that at that point in time, before the decision is made, you get buy-in from the team. Buy-in is really, really important, and the bigger the company, the more important it becomes, because you can have teams who just aren't going to use it, and therefore the data will never be centralized, and they'll always want to use their spreadsheets, or if they're not allowed spreadsheets, they'll have a spreadsheet on the side that's out of view, because that's the way they do it. And the risk is still there. So really that implementation process is really key, but you've got to make the decision right first, and get buy-in from the team. And with really large companies, I would say, having a key person within each department who's going to become the super user, if you like, is a really useful thing to do right at that decision stage, because then from the start. I've had customers who have implemented a CRM and not used it for 2 years, and they've come to me and said, we've got this CRM, we've been paying for it, but we're just not using it. And what I've had to do, it's crazy, because it's costing them money. They're still not being efficient, so they're just adding more cost. And I've gone in there and really said, right, well, what we need to do is, if you've decided you want to use this CRM, we need to, again, look at your data, look at your processes, look at what you require out of it. Bring the team in. Let's get everybody bought in on this, and we'll make it work for you. And we've done that numerous times. And I think it's really important that going through those stages will mean that you'll have a successful implementation, and you'll be able to successfully grow your business in an efficient way.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So I heard the word free. And this is a great thing with software providers nowadays. They have a freemium sort of service, don't they? So you start using it, because the thing is, if I've never had a CRM, how on earth am I going to know that it's any good or it's going to help me? So if there's an easy way for me to enter into that arena, and I go, oh my goodness, this is good, and then I can do this, and then I can do that. And before you know it, I need to add this module on and that module on, and before you know it, I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm doing absolutely everything, and I'm actually paying a decent service for it. How do I pay you if all I have is the free version then, Simon?
So interesting one. Great question. I would suggest about the free one, the freemium thing is really about understanding how you're going to use it and how you're going to grow with it. But and not necessarily think that you will always be on the free version. However, yes, obviously I'm happy to chat to anybody who's interested in exploring what opportunities there are within a CRM for their business. And I'm quite happy to have that chat free, to talk about CRMs. I love talking about CRMs, so that's absolutely fine. And with someone who would end up having a free version of the CRM, that's absolutely fine as well. It's really, for me, it's about helping businesses, and if they're wanting to chat and think they haven't got a budget for a CRM, I'd like to explore that with them, because I do feel that there is return on investment available here, and I think that every business who is in the business of growing, then they ought to have a look at a CRM and see where that fits with them.
Yeah, no, I do take that on board. I've heard of a story, or I know of a story of a company where they were investigating CRMs, and the owner of the business turned around and said, "No, totally don't agree with that. We're just having this one. This is what I'm having. That's it."
Yeah.
And they lost one of their key members of staff through it, because
Right.
because they didn't do it right. So it's important that we get that buy-in,
Absolutely.
so that everybody does it. Now, having
Yeah.
worked for software companies myself, it's the onboarding that is absolutely key. And one of the things I used to do is have meetings with senior partners, but I always used to make sure there was other people in the room as well, because the senior partners don't tend to use the software, in the day-to-day version.
Yeah.
Sort of like, we're at the coal face, we're doing this. We need to know that the chisel's sharp and the hammer hits in the right place.
Yeah.
But the senior partners, the directors, the owners, they don't use it in that same way. They're just
No.
having a glance at the top to make sure that the top level's right.
Yeah.
So it is all about the implementation. So what sort of things do you
Absolutely.
do to make sure that we implement our CRM properly, Simon?
Well, I help businesses implement their chosen solution. So, and you're absolutely right. It is about involving the people who are going to use it. There's, it's, as I said earlier, it's not about just throwing something on the desk and saying this is what you're using now, because you won't get the buy-in, and you won't. Whereas the people who have got the skills and knowledge of their bit of the process, if you like, and they're part of the business, are the people that are going to help this implementation work better, and give more value back. So I sit down with the whole team. I bring them all up to speed. We talk about what's required, knowing already what from the review process, what is required as far as data and process is concerned, but actually just saying, right, okay, now we're going to implement it. What are the bespoke fields you need in there? What is the structure? What happens to this? What is the workflow within your sales and lead generation process, and your customer service process? So yeah, I work with the teams, and I bring them up to speed and support them going forward as well if they require that.
No, that's fantastic. Now, there are some fancy pants software packages out there that will capture leads and send them an email nurture sequence and all of that sort of thing. And that is not CRM, is it? That's a totally different package. Now, can that bolt on to a CRM, or do we need two different packages? What's your
No,
answer to those sorts of questions, Simon?
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It is part of the CRM. The CRM has a lot of functionality in there, which which may or may not be used by businesses, but email sequences from a lead, from an inquiry, they're all there, and they're all and whether it's sending an email out or creating a reminder to the salesperson or the customer service person, those sequences can be implemented into CRMs. Now, at that point, I also actually say into some CRMs, because all CRMs do the core stuff. Some CRMs do the automation and the functionality and connecting into social and all of that sort of stuff. So identifying again requirements, how you're going to use it, which bits of these do you like the look of, because not everybody's using those sort of functionalities at the moment, and how does it fit into your workflow, is a really important thing to do. But CRMs do that, but it is actually about identifying, do you need that? Are you going to use that? Is
Yeah,
it going to
yeah,
benefit
yeah.
your business?
Yeah, we don't want it's shiny syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah,
I kind of, it's like, oh, it's got to have this and it's got to have that. And before you know it, you've got
yeah,
17 cup holders and
yes.
yeah, it's absolutely superb. Okay, well,
Yeah.
thanks ever so much for that. That was a real great insight. How can people get hold of you?
And
That's
you're going to share some links there?
well,
Yeah,
so
well,
that's my next question, because this is called Live and LinkedIn. And so it's
yeah, yeah.
great finding out about you guys and what you do. But I just, do you have any questions for me on LinkedIn? And if anyone's listening and they've got some questions for LinkedIn, this is the part of the show where put me to the test. Let's see if
Yeah.
we can help
Well,
you. So what are you struggling with on
I'm, I,
LinkedIn, Simon?
I'm gonna throw it back at you. LinkedIn groups.
Yes.
They've been around for years, haven't they? And and we're all, well, I'm a member of all sorts of groups, but don't really interact in them. Are are they useful, and how do you see groups being for people who want to expand their network?
Right. Okay. This is a great question. And like you say, one that comes up, and there's loads and loads of groups there. But,
Mm,
and this is the thing, it's you've got to get the interaction.
right.
And so if you post something on LinkedIn, then your audience is going to see it. If you post in a group, sometimes it's a closed group and it doesn't get the reach, etc. But you are posting into a group that you've specifically joined for a specific reason.
Right.
So you might belong to a group that are business owners trying to grow. Well, that's a perfect one for you, because
Mm,
then you can talk about and share
yeah.
CRM, how it works, and those sorts of things. But it's got to be an active group. And what
Yeah.
happens is with a lot of groups is that someone will join a business group, and then all they'll do is just put in sales posts from the company page and stuff like that. And it's like, oh my goodness, that's not what the group was set up for. So it's finding the right groups.
Yeah.
Why don't you set up your own? And if you
I was
set
going
up
to
your
say,
own,
is
you
the only way
can
to do
make
it set your own up?
you can make the rules yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
But then if you're going to set up a group, you then need to get a core load of people involved that are going to add content regularly, and then that gives the group more value.
Right.
And the trouble is that the bigger the group, the harder it is to manage. And then you start getting all those sales types posts coming through. There's a way to actually manage all of that, so you can stop people from posting, but then that means you've got to go in and check every single post, and then it just becomes a complete nightmare. And if you got yourself some decent CRM software and sent out mailers to your right people, then surely that's going to work better.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned pages. What? I mean, pages again. They've been around for donkey's years, and well, from what I've seen, nobody really uses them. Are they of value?
Well, that's another great question. You're talking about company pages, Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the first rule of buying or selling. Yeah. People buy from people who they know, who they like, and who they trust. They buy from people. They don't buy from companies. So if you start putting a lot of effort into your company page, they're just going to see SJR Digital. Who is that?
Right.
Who are they? What do they do? Whereas we see Simon. Oh yeah, I saw Simon on Ashley's show the other week, or I heard him on a podcast. Simon's the guy that does the CRM. And if Simon keeps dropping good content about organizing your business, what CRM packages do, how to implement a CRM package, all that sort of good stuff, we start seeing Simon as someone who knows what he's talking about. We see Simon as an expert in CRM. We see Simon as a thought leader for running a decent business.
Yeah.
And we forget who SJR Digital is. Now, here's a test for you. I really don't mind if you get the question right or wrong. What's the name of my company? No, exactly. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
No,
You're working with Ashley Leeds, and
Yeah.
that's the key thing. And we get all het up about, I've got to have a great company page, I've got to have a great website. People buy from people who they know, like, and trust. And so
you're absolutely right.
for those of you shouting at the radio or whatever you're doing listening, my name of my business is Full Cup Coaching, and the song that I played at the start of the show and I end with is called Full Cup. So that's how I got the name of the business. But it's irrelevant. It is absolutely irrelevant, because people buy from people who they know, who they like, and who they trust. Simon, what a couple of great questions there. When people ask me that question, I go and have a look at their page, and then I have a look at their personal profile. And well, for example, I've got nearly 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, only 300 on my company page. What is the point of me doing anything on my company page if only 300 people are potentially going to see it? So yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So thank you very much for your chat today. I've got one more question, but before we do that, I just want to go to my guest next week. So a fascinating lady is going to come and chat with me. She is all about women's leadership and wellness and stuff. She helps people with the menopause, and she's teaches people how to overcome stress and fatigue and feel energized. So looking forward to having a good chat with Nikki next week. So my question to you, sir, is what did you want to be when you left school?
Oh, I'm going to show my age now because I wanted to be an astronaut.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you're a kid, you saw it. I saw it going on with the moon landings and all that. So yeah, I mean, so much so, and I still want to be an astronaut. A few years ago, I registered with Branson's, his Galactic, Virgin Galactic. And I registered because they were taking registrations to go to space. I'll just register. And I was on their email list until eventually it got to the stage where you had to fork up the money, and it was saying, "Oh, just put £2,500 deposit down." I went, "Nah, I don't think I will."
That's just a deposit.
yeah, that's a deposit. Yeah. So
that's a great wait list to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I wonder what sort of CRM they're using for that then.
Oh, God knows.
And I guess when you get to the level of Virgin, then you can have bespoke CRM built for you, can you?
Yeah, they'll be way beyond that.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
Into something else.
Yeah, intergalactic. Simon, that's a great answer. Thanks ever so much for joining me on my show today. Thank you for all your Good. Thanks to everybody for your comments, and we will be back next week when I'll be talking to Nikki. Simon, thanks very much. Cheerio.
Thank you. See you later.
You get out what you put in.